What is going on, everyone? It is Rob and Jonny. Welcome to episode 25 of the MMArcade Podcast. Rob, quarter of a century, man. We've made it pretty far.
Quarter of a century. You know, we're both chuckling because this is the second time we've had to record this. And I swear, the first time I did it was my best intro to date. You know? So having to do it twice has taken the pizzazz out of it. But, man. again, who would have thought we'd make it here? Not me. But here we are. And you guys, with the feedback and the comments and the likes and the subscribes and telling all your friends about it is really helping the platform. And we're enjoying it. We are enjoying it. But I do
100%.
I do want to address. Let's get straight into it. Let's do
it, Rob. I know
address the elephant in the room, okay? Because you guys ruined my day. Okay, you ruined my day. So I read the comments. Like as soon as it was uploaded, and you guys were just hammering me about defending Volk, giving Volk excuses. Some guy said, "In what world does it's not verbatim, but in what world does being gassed protect you from a head kick?" Okay, I think that's a bit naive. I think the more tired you are, obviously, the easier it is going to be to land a head kick, and yada yada yada. Okay, I just want to address it. I'm sorry if I underplayed. If I underplayed Makhachev's achievements in beating Volk the way he did. That was not what I intended to do. Nor, even if it's how I made it sound, I'm sorry for that. But not really to you guys, to him, because I don't want him seeing it and feeling like that. Well, I am a little bit to you guys. Now, I actually spoke to Jonny after the episode and was like, "Hey, Jonny, was I too harsh on Volk?" Because I thought I was a bit harsh on Volk, to be honest. Yeah. But you guys just made me well aware that I was not too harsh on Volk, that I was going down with him on the shield as well. No, I do not take anything away from the way Makhachev did to take on the newcomer, to take on a guy that gave him such a hard time in his first fight, to have such performance, to adapt to the change in opponents, to do what he did like that night. Unbelievable. And I think he is he's got all the ingredients to be one of the greats. I really do. Okay. Yeah. So not taking anything away from it. What I was trying to do last episode was highlight that I don't think Volk looked as fast as he had in the first fight. I don't think Volk looked as small, as lean as he was in the first fight. I don't think he was moving with as much fluidity, which he was a little bit sluggish. This is just what I saw, my take on the fights, right? Yeah. So, and I concluded that it must have been because of the cut. He did say he had a big cut in the 12 days and that he wasn't training properly leading out. When a gas tank is your biggest weapon, I think pretty early on we saw that it wasn't the same. And you'd have to be blind not to see the differences from the first fight to the second fight. Again, before you guys start writing comments already, before you ruin my Saturday as well, right? But again, I'm not making excuses for Volk. I'm just saying how it is. I don't need to make excuses for Volk. He took a fight on 11 days' notice and got worked over. It was 11 days' notice. What do you expect? You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm congratulating Makhachev. I'm just trying to fill you guys in on the gaps that I think I didn't fill in last time. I was just trying to get across why I made the presumptions that I did, why I came to the conclusions that I did with the way he was fighting, just from what I can see. Okay. Don't mean to argue with you boys. Just got to get off my chest. I've been holding that one in since last week, since last Tuesday or whatever, dude. Yeah. You guys ruined that morning for me. I actually commented on my personal YouTube page, because my YouTube account, because I was like, man, you guys got to chill. I just got to get it off my chest a little bit. But you guys are great though. I do encourage the feedback. I love it when you guys comment and you give me a perspective that I didn't have going to it. And I do like the banter, respectful banter. Sure. Don't hammer me the way you did, maybe some of you guys, super aggressive, super aggressive, chill out, right? But I do appreciate it though. And I like it because then I get to come back and address it quickly in the episode 25 and just maybe give you another perspective you guys didn't have. And also just clarify what I meant. I want to be clear in how I break down fights, how I put together the vision that I have when I watch certain fights. So hopefully that can appease our lovely fans and listeners at home.
Yeah. I think it also goes to show, as you touched on, that we act when we say that, we read every comment. Like some people might think that we're joking. No, we really do. Every single comment on the video we read.
My Wednesday.
That and you can see in the way that we address things and the stuff that we talk about in the following episode, it is crafted according to what you say, genuinely. So keep it coming, even if we don't always agree. It's always in good fun. It's in good spirit. But Rob, do we want to get to the UFC news for this week? There's been a fair bit going on, I would say.
It has. Honestly, the biggest UFC hype of the remainder of the year, kind of got derailed, but then put back on tracks by the fill-ins, right?
It's been absolutely wild, dude. So obviously, and this came out, was like a day or so after we recorded the last podcast. So our podcast curse continues, Rob. Whenever we upload, something big gets announced. But yeah, Jon Jones and Stipe, that is cancelled. Jones is injured, tore a pectoral tendon off the bone while wrestling in training. He's had that surgery now. And in its place, we're not seeing Stipe fight. We are seeing Tom Aspinall versus Sergei Pavlovich fighting for the UFC interim heavyweight title at 295. It is now the co-main and not the main spot anymore. Prohaska and Pereira is now the main event. So, Rob, I wanted to get your thoughts, first of all, about Jones's injury, how that went down in that situation, if you had anything to say.
Oh, mate, it is what it is. Like, a lot of fighters will say it, and I've said it before, the training, the camps are much harder than the actual fight. Just getting into the sessions, trying to hit new PBs every single session, twice a day, especially when you work in live work, like in wrestling or grappling or sparring, the stakes are just high. And, honestly, I think that's the sweet science of the sport, is trying to mitigate injury and manage load, but really try to get the most out of your practice sessions anyway. But it is what it is. Jones has nothing to prove. He'll just heal up better than ever, I'm sure. But
for sure, moving
on to Tom Aspinall and Sergei Pavlovich, man, I'm still
it's gonna be a banger,
as heck, dude. Banger it will be. It is such an interesting pairing.
Yeah,
Tom Aspinall obviously hits hard. All heavyweights do, but he's quick. Honestly, he's quicker than a lot of light heavies, and he moves so well. His movement is well. He's very well rounded. But Sergei hits so hard,
a truck, bro. Like a truck.
And I love that. I really do. And we saw it with Ngannou. It's like sometimes that's enough. You know what I mean? Sometimes hitting that hard is enough. So I am very curious to see whether Sergei gets Tom or if Tom just pieces Sergei up. Because I think that's what it's going to be like. I don't, top of my head, can't see this being like a real tight, grueling decision fought battle. I can see the Sergei landing on Tom or Tom just piecing Sergei up until he's cooked, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that also, tell me, what are your thoughts?
This is not going the distance. Someone's getting knocked out. That's the reality of it. And I think at the moment, Aspinall is actually the favorite, and I can understand that. But you'd be so stupid to rule out Pavlovich. Would you say that Pavlovich is probably one of, if not the hardest puncher right now in the UFC, period? He just hits like a freight train. I worry for Aspinall. Yeah.
I'd have to say in the UFC, he would have to be the heaviest hitter at the moment, just because of the likes he's fought. The people he's had wars with and come out on top. Kind of convincingly on top.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I really rate Aspinall. He's come back from his injury incredibly strongly, but I could just see Pavlovich landing one, and that's all she wrote. We're going to obviously talk about our full breakdown when it comes time for 295, but that's the way that I'm leaning at the moment anyway.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what? And that makes me even excited because, like, which guy do you want to see fight Jones? Right? That makes it so exciting because, like, I want to see how Tom, the quicker guy, you know, like. Yeah. I want to see if Tom can do what we thought Cyril would do, but didn't against Jones, right? But I want to see Pavlovich get in there, heavy hands, and see if that changes things up, right? Oh, it's
Well, here's the thing, bro. I'll mention this because I think Aspinall was the one that said this, and I apologize if I'm misquoting him, but he was kind of saying that I thought that the plan was Jones fights Stipe, obviously, like that was set, and then they both do it's a double retirement, and then Pavlovich and him fight for the actual belt. Because I know that it's been discussed here and there that Jones might be heading towards a retirement. They might not actually get the chance to fight, even if Aspinall does win. Because if Jones' surgery is taking him out for another 8-9 months, and then they eventually fight, God forbid that Jones loses, I don't think that's going to happen. But even if Jones wins, that was kind of the inside baseball. I don't know, man.
Well, how old's Jones now?
Oh, I can't remember. Jon Jones' age. He's like, what, 36? I'm guessing? Oh, I was on the money! 36. Yeah. He's 36. So, look, he's not getting old. And I'm not saying that he should retire. That's what I'm saying Aspinall was kind of suspecting in the lead up to the Jones-Stipe fight before, obviously, Jones got injured.
What happens to Stipe?
No, this is Stipe's last fight. I assume he's going to lose, and then even if he gets the belt, he's going to retire after that. Dude, like, I think he's done.
But no, but what happens? Like, Jones is injured. Are they... Like, so what's Stipe doing now?
Oh, okay, so that was the next bit that I had to talk about. So Stipe said that he was never asked about whether he would fight for the interim title. There was a couple of days of speculation there about, well, why would Stipe turn this down? Because he's not going to fight till forever, and the dude's getting older now. He was never actually asked, and Dana, when he was asked, Dana was like, it would be disrespectful to give Stipe Miocic, greatest heavyweight of all time, a interim title fight, right? So they didn't even bother asking Stipe. So the plan is they still want to book Jones and Stipe for next year whenever Jones can come back. That's the plan, to still have that big money fight sometime next year.
Okay. I only agree with this, personally agree with this, because obviously I have no effing say in anything, right? Like, let me make a phone call. Nah, dude. Who do I think I am?
Yeah.
But I'm personally okay with this because Stipe's a legend. So give him that money fight, give him that shot
for sure.
Give him that shot at straight gold, and then let him do what he wants with it after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously defending the belt whilst there's an interim title in the mix is weird. But
it is weird.
Again, still all for it. Still all for it.
Because you know as well as I do.
Didn't I do the same thing?
When? No, you did, didn't you? No, you did. Now that I'm thinking about it, you absolutely did.
Yeah, because
how long ago was that?
Bisping fought GSP.
GSP, yeah.
And then GSP beat him and relinquished. So I think I was the interim champ then.
And then you were given the title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the GSP, what was that the second time you did that? I remember some conversation about Dana saying, are you surprised I included something in his contract because we knew that would happen? That's exactly what happened with you, bro. Exactly what happened with you.
Yeah. So, yeah, not so out there then, is it? Crazy.
I should have written that down, yeah.
I'm glad I realized that on camera. Oh, dude. All right.
That is brilliant.
I'm excited.
And of course, like the very last small talking point is that you and I kind of talked about how it's crazy that Prohaska and Pereira wasn't the main event, but obviously Jones and Stipe were fighting. Now they are the main event. So that's a very worthy main event. Interested to see that fight as well. We will fully break down 295 when it comes time.
I think I even spoke about it briefly the last week.
did, yeah.
But I'm still, again, super excited for that fight. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, dude. Like, what does Prohaska train and do differently from his last fights to beat Pereira, because I don't think he can go into this fight like he did with his last fights, because he gets hit too much. He gets hit too much. And Pereira is really good at hitting. So we'll break that down on another episode.
100%. But the next news that we have to talk about is UFC Austin. Pretty much like the full main card has been announced. Dana came out with a video talking about how Beneil Dariush is taking on Arman Tsarukyan. You've got Dan Hooker against Bobby Green, Rob Font against Figueiredo. Figueiredo is actually fighting up in weight. Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum, who's fighting down in weight. This is honestly, Rob, low-key a really great fight night. Probably one of the better fight nights that I can remember in recent memory. So what do you think about this event? Like, this kind of came out of nowhere, but there's some bangers on this card.
I'm for it. I'm 100% for watching Dan Hooker and Bobby Green go to war fight.
It's going to be good.
I'm so down for that fight, right? Okay? Yeah. Just firstly. Yeah. Dariush is doing what he needs to do to get back into the picture, to get back into those talks. After his last loss, and which is fine, because I'm going to be in the same boat when I fight next. I get it. And he's a good guy. And I'm very curious to see how Figueiredo looks moving up, in that he's always been a hard puncher, but now we're going to fuel him up. I wonder if he hits twice as hard, right? And Kelvin Gastelum going back down to welterweight. Like,
I want to get your views on this, man. You fought him.
Honestly, every time I've seen him as middleweight, he didn't look like the strongest middleweight. Even when I fought him, he didn't feel like the strongest middleweight. I don't think he's a natural middleweight. I don't think he should be fighting as a middleweight. Granted, he still hit hard, but I don't think he should have been fighting as a middleweight.
Fair.
And I think maybe through his career, maybe he wasn't as disciplined as he should have been, or a little bit cowboy with the way he used to diet when he was a welterweight, because obviously he had a lot of struggles and making the weight as a welterweight. He missed weight, I think, once or twice, perhaps. But he did. He struggled a lot. But maybe it was due to that. He was younger. He didn't have the discipline, yada, yada, yada. Now he went to middleweight, found his feet, found his discipline, especially after the way he did a post-speech, I think, after his last fight. I think he's ready. He's ready to... Because he was doing so well at welterweight. It was just the weight cuts that were so hard for him. So I'm very, I'm curious to see what sort of Kelvin we'll get.
Yeah. Well, Sean Brady's not an easy fight for him. Like, what's he ranked?
Definitely
9
not.
Or something. That's a hard fight.
But I think Kelvin, though, left the welterweight division when he was in like the top 5, I'm pretty sure, when he left. Kelvin was a terror in welterweight, I'm pretty sure.
I hope he has a second resurgence. I really do. I actually do rate him at welterweight.
And I like him as a person.
Yeah.
I think he's all right. He's all right.
So it is going to be a banger of a card. But what we're not seeing, and Rob, we talked about this last time, but Delize is no longer fighting on the card because he can't find a fight after Cannonier pulled out after injury. So he said specifically, and I laugh because this is what you were touching on, he's going back to Georgia to spend some time with his family. That's what he's going to be doing instead of fighting on the card. So unfortunately for him, but good on him. He gets to spend Christmas with the fam.
Yeah, dude, that's what I said. Just go home, chill out for a bit. There'll be plenty of fights early next year. A lot of guys will be finishing up whatever they've been doing. I'm looking for a fight next year, Yeah. Merry Christmas.
we got something to talk about later. There's a question somebody asked about you and Kamaru. I saw a bunch of articles after our podcast last week, but we'll get to that later. The next bit of UFC that we have to talk about quickly is Almeida versus Lewis, Fight Night this weekend. Derrick Lewis is 27 wins, 11 losses. He just come off a win. Jailton Almeida, 19 wins, 2 losses. He's on a 14-win streak. Rob, check out this for a stat. I had to double check when I wrote this down. So the last 5 wins he has of his last 7 have come by submission, and not just submission, rear naked choke. 5 of his last 7 fights have been by rear naked choke. This guy is a submission specialist. He's a rear naked choke specialist. This is another nice matchup, similar to Pavlovich and Aspinall. You have Derrick Lewis, who hits like a truck, and Jailton Almeida, who's a submission specialist. It's just a nice matchup. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this one. What do you think, man?
Yeah, but Almeida's a bit different. He reminds me so much of Jacare. So much. because like it's not just that he's a submission specialist. Obviously, I think a submission specialist, like grappling heavy guy in the heavyweight division, is already has a leg up on a lot of these dudes just because of the weight.
For sure.
Just because of how much harder it is, because of the gas tank, just because of the dynamics of fighting as a heavyweight are different. But he's also massive, dude, and he's young, and he hits hard.
And he's hungry, bro.
But in saying that, Lewis looked the best I've seen him in his career last fight. I think he won flying knee, didn't he? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he won via flying knee, dude. Like a flying knee. This was like the leanest Derrick Lewis I had ever seen. And he said something to the fact that like, I'm back. It's the best I've seen him look. All right.
TKO punches. That's what I have here on Wiki.
Was it after the flying knee?
He probably did a flying knee into punches. I don't remember that fight. I don't know if I watched it.
I hope that that's the Lewis we see coming in. Someone who's fit, strong, been wrestling day in, day out. Otherwise, he's going to get taken down, get tired, and belted. Dude, like there's no doubt. No doubt.
I just don't know if the Lewis that we used to know is back. I mean, he had a string of losses. Like he lost against Ty, he lost against Pavlovich, speaking of, and I think Spivak as well. Like he's only had one win recently, lost 3 of his last 4 fights. I just see Almeida just maybe even choking him, tiring him out and going for the specialties, rear naked choke. That's how I see this going.
I can see that. It's going to be a hard fight for him. But, I'm not giving up on Lewis. I like Lewis. I like the way. I don't know. There's something, like I said, I think I like the just big dudes, real simple, heavy hitters. Like keep it simple sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, let's see how that goes and a bunch of other fights for the fight night. Let's see your predictions in the comments below. And as always, we're moving on next to the games news. Rob, by far the biggest talking point this week, the biggest news was that Bungie has made a bunch of their staff redundant. So we didn't know how many it was initially, and it turns out that it's 8% of their staff. They've let go of a fair few people, and this comes after Destiny 2 apparently was 45% below their projections due to its waning popularity. It has a few issues at the moment. Rob, what do you think about Bungie making their staff redundant? This also follows after them being acquired by Sony not so long ago, and this wasn't a Sony decision. This was actually made by Bungie. The Bungie CEO did a stupid tweet about these are good people, please hire them, or maybe you should have kept them on. But Rob, what do you think specifically about Bungie and Destiny and all that?
Mate, I think Destiny's kind of been out of popularity for a while now.
Yeah.
I mean, it had its heyday. Like, how old is the game now? I remember it being...
It's getting on now, man. It's getting
a long time. And like Destiny and Destiny 2 were kind of very, very similar. I know. Like there weren't any groundbreaking changes to the second one, right? Yeah, I think it was something new at the time, and that the popularity is kind of just dropped. Whether making staff redundant, how can I speak on that? I don't know. Like show me the financial books for Bungie, the company, right? I can't give those sort of comments. I think anybody getting made redundant sucks, especially if you don't have to. And I would be hard pressed to understand why they would have had to, considering they just got bought out by Sony. But
yep. Here's what I'm going to say about the matter, man. Because this is not just about Bungie. This year, there's been, at minimum, over 6,000 redundancies across tons of companies. We're talking about Epic Games, CD Projekt Red, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Bethesda. This is not it's a once in a moon occurrence. This has been happening a lot this year. And unfortunately, it's been happening in arguably the best year in gaming that we've had in a very, very long time, if not ever. Like, how many bangers have we had this year? How many records have been broken, even by Sony themselves? This is really unfortunate because like this is talent that's just going out the door, and all those 6,000 plus people, they're not going to get hired again in the games industry. There's just not enough roles going around. The job market sucks at the moment. They're going to go off into different industries, so you're losing that talent, and they're not going to come back because they're probably going to go for a higher salary in tech or someone else in Silicon Valley. This is like, it's just pissing away talent, and I get a little bit frustrated by it because I used to work in games. I know how great it can be, but this would scare anybody off. Anybody that has potential, anybody that has talent, this would scare anybody off getting into the industry because you don't know who's going to get made redundant next. It sucks. It really does.
I gotta ask though. Do you think though that the reason why the redundancies are getting made now is because, like, obviously with COVID there was that massive boom in gaming, right? Like everybody, even people who had never even glanced at a game before were playing games, and I can see that, you know, as the COVID whatever that was settles, people are starting to do other things, especially those guys that were just playing it because that's all they had to do.
Yeah.
I can see them.
That COVID boom for sure led to all those hires. Like, there is no doubt. And to an extent, they had to make those hires in order to be able to keep up with demand, whether it's like QA staff, people maintaining servers, whatever it might be. What I would say, though, is that we all should have seen, and especially people who get paid a lot more than me, and being in that level, they all should have seen that COVID was going to be a bit of a boom. Once COVID was over, let's say over, and people were going out and about again and they weren't staying at home all the time, what do you think was going to happen? That people would just keep playing games? No, they would stop playing games as much as they do. They would go outside and experience other things. They'd go to the movies instead, or they'd go out for dinner instead of playing games. And it was bound to happen. And this is the thing with the industry, is that they'll overhire and then be like, oh, crap, our new game isn't doing too well. We're going to let go of a bunch of staff. It is down to senior management. It is down to them not seeing that it was just a COVID boom.
I think there's like a whole thing on that. Like, people much smarter than myself can speak about it. But it's like that, how like the people in the upper management only have to worry about their quarter, right? They only have to worry about their quarters, their overheads. It doesn't really matter about everybody else. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing 2 years from now when they're not on that project or whatever. Yeah. It's about their overheads for that, like then and there. And I don't know. You know, in saying that, we're pointing out that there are a lot of redundancies, but I'm sure a lot of game companies are like vice gripping their guys to the best of their abilities. I'm sure there's where something sucks, there's good in it too. You know, we're just highlighting the bad because it makes good news.
Well, there was the biggest news that happened this week.
It's a brutal truth. It's a brutal reality of the situation.
For sure. Like the one tweet that I sent out when it happened, I was like, I'm grateful for my time working in games, but this stuff, it scares away talent. But to be fair, it's happened in tech this year. It's happened in tons of other industries. I just hope that as many of them as possible can find their feet, and if they need to leave to another industry, then they'll have to do that. But that happened this week, and that was not so fun. But Rob, I included the next bit of news just for you because I know how much you love From Software. So they're reportedly gearing up for multiple new projects following Elden Ring and Armored Core 6's success. So they're going to be going on a recruitment spree. So maybe some of those devs can head over to From Software.
6,000 of them just waiting.
Right? Waiting. I mean, like, it might be like, I know everyone can work remotely now, and that's a bit of a discussion, but it's, location dependent. There's a lot of new devs that are ready and willing to get hired. They have a huge IP now in terms of Elden Ring that came out of, I won't say came out of nowhere, but it was a massive, massive success. Armored Core 6 as well. What would you like to see from Software? Like, what do you want to see them do? You want to see them go back to what they were doing before? New IP? Something Elden Ring related? Like, because you're a big fan of them, man. Oh,
give me my damn DLC for Elden Ring already. You guys have been teasing it for years. Like, man, I've been itching to have a new run and a new playthrough in Elden Ring, but I've been just waiting for the DLC that you said was coming shortly. It hasn't been that short. Maybe
it hasn't at all.
You know, I actually haven't even touched on Armored Core 6 yet. I played Armored Core way back when, and I really enjoyed it, but I feel like you got to be in the mood for mechas. Like, I can't be in the mood for fantasy and mechas. It's like I'm either just playing fantasy or I'm playing just mechas. It's a bit different. So I haven't jumped into Armored Core 6 yet. But yeah, give me some DLC, bro. Or
well, that's like the small DLC thing that they can do. We're talking about them going on a recruitment spree to start some new big projects. Like, do you want to see Elden Ring 2 or something else?
That's the thing, though. We're not going to see Elden Ring 2. Like, there's so much more they could squeeze from the husk, and I'm there. I'm for that. I'm for it. Okay. I'm willing. Just hit me with heaps of DLC. Hit me with skins. Give me anything, please.
But that's not making the investors interested at all. They want new games. They want something
You're
big.
asking what I want, and I want
be realistic,
DLC.
Rob.
I want DLC. Like, what do you want me to say? I want Dark Souls 4.
Do you want Dark Souls 4?
I'd love to see them jump back into the Dark Souls series. Like, I love those Souls series, those Souls-like games. They're the games that made them who they are now, as well as like that just, I don't know, FromSoft have had such a cult following because of those games. So I'd love to see them jump into something like that. So Dark Souls 4, obviously Elden Ring 2, but like I said, DLCs, maybe even a new take on it. Yeah. But it's hard to think outside the box, really, because they created the box you're in, sort of thing. Tricky.
No one does what they do as good. And obviously, like, what was the game that you were playing recently? There have been some companies that have tried Lords of the Fallen, but no one is clearly reaching the heights of From Software. Liza P. Apparently, Liza P is good though. Apparently, it's very good. Yeah. Did you end up playing it?
I don't know. It doesn't look like my cup of tea.
Man. You should, bro. It's right up your alley, for sure.
I'm not even playing Lords of the Fallen anymore. I'm kind of just like cruising. Let's get into the next part. So I can.
Well, we're going to say, let's talk about that next. So, that is the games news from this week. And now we're going to be talking about what we're watching, playing, and reading. Rob, you touched on it. You're not playing anything, bro.
I'm playing RimWorld. If you've ever played it.
Of course you're going back to RimWorld.
Yeah, dude, it's about that time. So I got lazy and I subscribed to a whole collector's pack of like 470 mods or something, and burnt down my computer. So I had to start again, like clean save, reinstall. And I've got a real good stable list of mods, about 140 or so. And it's clean. It's clean. It's nothing crazy. I've only just started. I play it like a FromSoft game. I play commitment mode, one save, no deaths.
Yeah.
If I die, I die. Have you ever played RimWorld?
I've not played RimWorld, no.
Yeah. Well, so my dude starts, no skills, naked in the desert by himself, and dude, like I just try to get by and live and make a character. I just find that fun. I've got a dude now that's
fair enough.
I've had to remake him about 8 times already, but if he dies this time, I'll probably get off RimWorld for another 6 months. But that's what I'm doing right now. Reading, watching. I actually just started a book. I can't really claim whether it's that good just yet. It's not bad. It's like a reincarnation type book. So, like, dude dies in a previous life, gets reincarnated. But it's got a much more mature approach on it than, like, your isekai or whatever the hell they're called, Japanese anime tropes. So it's cool. It's cool. If it lives up to what I think it could, because I'm actually interested in reading it, I'll flag it next week for you guys.
All right.
And watching, I'm jumping around a bunch of different anime this season. Where are we?
Isn't there, and I actually watched the first episode, which it's giving me thoughts. Isn't there a new season of Goblin Slayer?
There is, but I'm waiting until I'm desperate enough to watch the first season again. I don't want to watch the second season without watching the first season again.
Fair
just because, like, I need. But I really liked Goblin Slayer, and like I know this, but I don't remember exactly what happened. So
that first episode is brutal. I'm just
no one forget that. No one.
It's a lot, but apparently that's the worst thing that happens. So
it is though. But because it just gives the backstory of like who is Goblin Slayer and why he's.
Yeah, but there's a million other things they could have done, Rob. There's a million things they could have done aside from that.
Every other anime has done them. But they haven't done that. Like,
yeah, I guess you're right, but it's still much.
I think that's what drew everyone in. I don't know. I love it. It was cool.
All right.
It was cool. It made me really understand where the character was coming from, why he is the mess that he is. I don't know. Fair. I liked it. But again, not going to watch the second season unless I rewatch the first season just because of it.
Yep.
Anime I'm watching, I've touched on a little bit, like a bunch of the new ones, but none of them really have really captivated me just yet at all. Looking at them now, not even worth talking about just yet. No.
Fair enough.
Not yet.
Maybe you'll build it up a little bit. So Rob, I'll be real with you. I'm really enjoying Shield Hero. Like
Shield Hero.
It's so good. And I'll be real with you. There are times, and you know the moments, that it makes me angry because he's treated so unfairly for no reason. And I know that what it's intended to do, it's intended to make you feel like that. And but when it's aside from those moments, when he's just chilling with his crew and they're having like really nice wholesome relationships, it's just enjoyable. It's fun.
You see though, that's the magic. Those moments
you're right.
Is what brings those other moments so nice. You know what I mean? Because you're happy
you
for the
want
guy
that for him.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And that's in my opinion, what makes a good anime. It makes you feel something. It's just like a book. If a good book makes me feel stuff, I'm not just like watching it. And you know what other anime made me feel stuff was the first season of My Hero Academia.
Okay, that's a good shout. Yeah,
when All Might was like G'ing up Midoriya, whatever the hell his name was, G'ing him up, and like he gave like one of his iconic speeches, dude. Oh, like I remember getting goosebumps just thinking about and Midoriya's always crying, so he's bawling his eyes out like I'm going to tear my heart. It's like, dude, I don't know. That's one of the only other few animes that's really driven home that feel factor.
That and when he goes to the doctor or whatever and it's like, you don't have any powers, and it's just heartbreaking.
Flashback when he's a kid like pretending to be a hero but he's got no powers. Oh
yeah. Oh dude, My Hero Academia is really good. I know some people say that it's overrated and it's gotten incredibly big, but it is good. Like let's be real. My Hero
it lost
is good.
me. It lost me. I thought the first season was the best. It did lose me though when he started kicking things.
Yeah. Well, it lost me when it started doing too many like what felt like slice of life, and it wasn't serious enough. But then it got real serious. Like the last season was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I need to go back and pick it up. But
you should. But yeah, Shield Hero, bro. Like it's genuinely. I'm slowly working my way through it. It is shaping its way up to be one of my favorites of all time. And I haven't watched a crazy amount of anime. Like I'm fairly new to the scene, but it's good, man.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Because like I'm trying to psych myself up to rewatch the first season again, because obviously they brought out the third season.
I got a lot of episodes to work my way through. I'm excited. But that's been like my routine. So like after work, I've been like having dinner. First, I would sit down and then I'd play some Spider-Man 2. So that's what I've been playing.
My
Spider-Man
son
2, bro.
That the other day.
Sorry? Oh, did he? Did he like it?
Yeah. Mate, he just... I was blown away because I was walking past and I was like, oh, this fight seems a little bit more epic than usual.
Yeah.
And I sat down for a second and then like they rolled a huge cinematic clip sort of story talking, and I was like, this is definitely the ending. So I just watched it with him, and mate, he loved it.
Nice.
He loved it. It's cool. It's really cool.
It's such a fun game. It's such a gamer's game. It is just swapping between the two Spider-Men. They have different powers, all the different combos that you learn, the suits that you pick up. Just swinging around New York is fun, and then you see a crime taking place, you can go save them. And the story is fun too. It's everything that you could possibly want in a like a popcorn flick style of movie. You know, it's like that's the kind of equivalent that it is, but it's actually a very good game. I'm really enjoying it. I'm slowly working my way through it, but that's probably going to be done in the next week or so. And then after that, I will lie down in bed with my dog and watch Shield Hero. I've been having a nice little week. That has been my routine for the past few days.
You need those, dude. I'm hoping to have that this weekend. Like I need a chill weekend.
Yeah, nice. Well, what's your plan? Do you have anything on the cards to play or watch?
RimWorld.
You're still playing? Okay, yeah, fair.
No, dude, I still
thought maybe you'll start something new.
Because my dude's in the tribe era. Like he doesn't have electricity, doesn't have plumbing. He's got nothing, dude. He just plants corn and sleeps on the floor.
Fair enough.
So I'm excited to like start researching electricity and powers and just like really work out that mad scientist thing. I need to get antibiotics, but because I'm playing a solo colonist, so if I get sick, I'm done. Game over. No one's going to be there to fix me up. So I need to get some. I need to get my hands on some like antibiotics or penicillin or something before that happens, or I'm in trouble.
Right. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds interesting.
Well, it's just so much planning because I'm playing by myself, dude. It's like, Ringworld's a real brutal game. Like, it throws events at you, throws sickness at you, throws invasions at you, throws like eternal nights or like toxic fallouts or all weird stuff at you. So you have to kind of prepare and plan for the worst, while still advancing your technology and everything else. I don't know. It's a really cool game. Like, it is one of those overwhelmingly positive reviewed games on Steam. That's cool. Like stupidly big.
Yeah. But talking about reviews, man, this year, I'm actually kind of glad that we're getting to the point. I looked at the releases for new games in November and even for 2024. It's definitely going to slow down, and part of me is grateful. I've missed so many good games this year. I need to go back and play the Resident Evil 4 remake. I obviously need to finish Spider-Man. I want to play Lies of P. We've had a stupid number of good titles released this year. So I'm actually looking forward to the downtime to be able to catch up on everything.
Yeah.
So after Spider-Man 2, that's the plan. I'll make a list of what I want to play and just keep smashing them down. But that's it, man. That is what we're watching, playing, and reading. Last segment, of course, is viewer questions. As always, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. We try to get to as many of them as possible. The first one comes from @ThePower. Question for Rob and Jonny. Do you think Dricus gets the next title shot and Chimaev stays on the sideline and fights another contender after he's healed up? No way he, as in Chimaev, deserves a title shot after barely scraping by a 36-year-old Usman on 10 days' notice. Rob, what do you think?
Mate, what do you want me to say? I'm pretty sure that was like what Dana White said. Chimaev Usman gets the title shot just because of the late notice matchup. Not that it was late notice for Chimaev sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, Dricus gets that next fight. He beat me against all odds, which I'm still salty about, dude. Like, is it still too soon to call for a rematch?
But who the hell would he fight? Because as you said,
that's what I mean. Like, what are they doing? What does he do if they slot Chimaev in front of him? Like, I don't know. Perfect world, Dricus gets that fight. Chimaev fights the next contender. But who knows? Who knows? I think Chimaev's going to fight him. What does Dricus do then? Who knows? Who do I fight next year? Let's find me a fight as well. I don't know.
Let's get to the next question. So at the writer McCallis 200 asks Bobby Knuckles versus the Nigeria Nightmare with the little eyeball emoji. Rob, you did get all the media outlets in a little bit of a frenzy. It was a throwaway line in our last podcast. You're like, oh, this interests me. And everyone's like, Rob Whittaker's interested in fighting Usman.
I want to fight Usman.
And then who talked about it? I think DC said that it was a good matchup. So, like, what do you think about you potentially if you were to have your way? Like, would you want to fight Usman next year? How do you see that fight, the matchup, and everything?
Yeah, I'd love to fight Usman next year if he wants that fight. I think it's an interesting fight. It potentially gets him up into the top 5. Even though he fought Chimaev, you know what I mean? It's and he's a welterweight legend. He is, and he's a good fighter. You saw the fight he gave Chimaev. I think I'm a good fight for him. I think I'm a bad fight stylistically for him, but I think it's a fight worth having. We're both good fighters, we're both honorable fighters, and I think we can have like a really good hard fight. But who knows the machinations of the big wheel, right? It's, who knows? Who knows what's happening, like with the wrap up of this year and being next year. I'm looking to fight, I think realistically, looking to fight February, March next year. Mainly because I think December at this point for me is like, unless it was like the end of December, which there aren't many cards, like it's too soon. So I like having at least 8 weeks to fight. I like having 8 weeks notice because that's enough time to make the weight safely, not safely, like healthily, whilst getting the most out of your training. But I don't want to fight in January because my baby's due. My baby, Sophia's baby. My kid. How do you?
It's still your kid. No, it's still
I have
our baby.
I have something to do with it. Yeah, our baby is due in January. I'd like to be around for that.
Yeah.
Not having to worry about flying out or in. I've done it a couple of times. And it's not the best feeling.
Yeah,
so it'd be good to be here for the delivery of her, and then to move into like obviously I'll camp through the whole thing and then fight in February or fight in March. That'll be good. Good kickoff for 2024.
I'm just saying it'll be a good fight, and if I was Usman, that'd be a fight that I'd be really looking to, because if he really does want to stay at that weight and he doesn't want to go back, then do you want to fight someone lower in the rankings, or if you've got someone like yourself that could, if he was to win hypothetically, that could get him into more title contention, then that's the fight he takes, especially because he's getting a little bit older too. Like rumors about his knees and whatever. Like who else would he fight that's a better fight than you for his sake? Delize? Probably not. Like who else?
Yeah. I won't see. It depends. Like, there's so much unknown in the middleweight division at the moment. In that top 5, like there's so many unknowns. Like what's everyone doing, sort of thing.
Well, apparently Izzy's not fighting until 2027. I think he was BSing a little bit, but that's kind of what he joked about.
2027. You're going to come back at 38 years old? Give me a break, dude.
That's pretty funny. The next question that we have is from @HenryYX2EL. Great episode, guys. I have a question. The new Spider-Man game includes 4 damage if the user decides to turn it on, but some people say it breaks the Spider-Man immersion to take this damage. Do you think a real-life Spider-Man would take 4 damage, or would his spider powers get rid of that? Rob, I'm gonna start off because you're taking the drink from your massive jug, and I've been playing the game. Number one, I really like that Spider-Man by default does not have 4 damage in the game. Makes it so much more fun. I don't have to worry about that crap. Like I can just swing from building to post and just fall whatever I want. It's freaking awesome. I don't care. But his spider powers would prevent a bit of fall damage in real life if Spider-Man was actually real. Surely it would. Like you see how strong the guy is. You see how a spider moves. But real life spiders fall from a distance and don't die, or from a height and don't die. For sure, Spider-Man wouldn't have fall damage, or it'd have minimal fall damage. What do you think?
I think your spiders fall from great heights in real life is way off the mark. I'm pretty sure there's some big science there about how if the thing's smaller and lighter, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it. But in saying that, I do think Spider-Man's abilities and powers would make him like resistant to fall damage, because he's stupidly strong, and for his body to withstand the strength that he has and the things that he does, it would have to be reinforced by something stupid amounts. So I'm sure
his suit, right? His suit, like he would have some awesome suit with like nanotech in his feet that would prevent further fall damage.
No, but 100%. Why? He wouldn't need it if he.
But as I'm saying, as a backup. Right, like that, he could easily have that. Like, look at all the crazy suits.
I'm not super up to date with all these like little gadgets and whatnot.
Fair enough.
I only know him like default Peter Parker,
regular old Peter Parker Spider-Man,
straight up,
just the normal suit.
He's super strong, but like super strong.
He is. Yeah.
So like, I'm pretty sure like falling off a skyscraper wouldn't hurt him.
By the way, you were right about the spider. They can only survive a fall of 3 feet, 2 or 3 feet. Which is sad for the spiders, dude. This is the thing.
I want to see a spider fall off my desk and just die.
They don't.
Tell me that wouldn't be funny if you saw a spider crawling off your desk, lose its footing, fall to the ground, and just never get up.
I'm sure you would love that.
I'm laughing at the image of that in my head. I think it would be hilarious.
Well, this is the thing that always gets me thinking. Have you ever seen a spider web connected from one tree to another tree? Like it's a huge distance. I looked it up at the time. Spiders literally do a little bungee jump to get to another tree. How else do they get that initial web to go across? They're acrobatic, man.
They like glide.
Yeah, it's cool. That's why I think a spider would actually survive the height if they were able to. Bro. They're pretty scary. But that was a pretty fun question. The next question that we have is from I'm gonna butcher your name at DDNBBB5270. Question for Rob: which game has the most realistic martial arts besides the sports-based ones? Which has the best? Cheers. Rob, what do you think?
Oh, man, that's a tricky one.
Very
tricky. Very, very tricky.
Because, if it's not a realistic one, they've all got powers in them and stuff.
You know what? Have you ever played the game Ex Anima?
No, I've never played Ex Anima.
Dude, it's a funny game. It's like a physics-based gladiator medieval sort of game. And it's pretty funny. Like you can trip on rocks and things. And dude, like it's pretty funny. Like it's funny as hell to play. Maybe that one. I don't know. Like I don't know. They're all kind of fakey.
They are all fakey. I will give an answer, and I believe this is a very good answer, and I hope Rob doesn't get me for it. But there was a Mortal Kombat game a few times back. I don't remember whether it was Deception or whatever, but you could actually swap between very specific fighting styles, whether you were karate or hapkido, and they were named that, and they would base them off the actual fighting style. And obviously there are powers and spears and all that kind of stuff in Mortal Kombat, but in terms of the actual fighting style, that's the game that I've seen do it the most justice, like actual real, and not just one fighting style, not just MMA, many different types of fighting styles. Like, you know, that was the game that I saw did it the best.
And it's like slow enough to be believable almost.
Yes. It's not like Street Fighter where it's just like they're doing spinning kicks and that. You know what I mean? Like that's not actual karate. Yeah.
There's a game called Nioh. If you ever play it?
Yeah, no.
It might be pronounced Neo.
Or Neo, yeah.
Neo 2, there's like hand to hand, like there's fist weapons, like punching things. And dude, like the stance changing in that is out of this world. Like it's so cool. It's so intuitive, the mechanics in it. But dude's moving like the speed of light, so not that realistic.
Yeah. Well, that's I feel like that Mortal Kombat game. Let us know in the comments if you remember which one it was, but they all to an extent adopt, you know, real life fighting style inspiration. Next question that we have is from @Makoto. This made me laugh so hard. It's not even a question, Rob, but he says, I'm just going to say it. Rob has the weirdest relationship with gaming I've ever heard. Loves role-playing games, hates quests, loves Fallout games and mods, never uses console commands. What? It's true, Rob.
Yeah.
They're right. 100% right. You do.
I'm just picky, dude. I'm picky.
I don't like playing as an actual named character. It has to be one that I build.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of requirements.
Yeah, well, Quest is always so much dialogue, so much talking. You know, I still haven't jumped back into Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I want to. The whole game makes me tingle inside when I think about it. But the idea of going through that dialogue, I just don't have time for it.
Fair enough.
And I think skipping it all will just make it less fun, sort of thing. So
yeah. It is a long game, to be fair. It is a very long game.
Yeah, but it's cool for that reason. But again, like I said, no time.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I've been having a bit of a love-hate relationship at the moment with very, very long games. I mean, especially if you don't know whether you'd like it and you have to wait 20 to 50 hours before you actually get into the crux of it. But I love myself a nice, short, compact game. That's why I love playing Resident Evil. That's why I love the Spider-Man game. Because you can play 3 or 4 of those kinds of games in the same number of length of time that you would play a huge open world game. Do you know what I mean? And it's very satisfying when you have a list of games that you want to play and just keep ticking them off.
Yeah, so, or you can get into roguelikes and you just play until your run dies.
That's a good point.
Then you rage quit and go read a book. Like legit, that's what I do. I get here all psyched up, I play around, and then I die and then go away.
Do you know what game that I really liked? It was, did you ever play Cuphead? Cuphead is such a good game.
Oh, I didn't. I know it took the world by storm.
It really did.
Like it
did. You're right. It did take the world by storm.
I didn't like it. I don't like the animation. Don't like the art style.
That was the best part. What are you talking about,
cup, dude? Like, I don't know. You ever played Rogue's Legacy? Very similar, but like,
no, I haven't.
It's, I don't know. I liked it more.
All right, that's fair enough. And then the last question that we have is from No1-MX4NX. Great podcast as usual, guys. I have a question for both of you. What is the weirdest anime you have ever watched? Rob, you should be able to give a good answer to this because you've watched, it seems like, every anime in the world.
Oh, man. The weirdest one.
Yeah. You have a think. I'm going to give my answer, and it's one that Rob recommended. Prison School was weird. Prison School was weird as hell.
Prison School is great, dude.
I didn't say it was bad. I said it was weird.
I will not share a podcasting space with anyone that doesn't conform to the religion.
I didn't say it was bad. I said it was weird. You got to be real. It is a weird concept.
Oh, mate.
It's a weird anime.
Oh, it's not that weird. It's not that weird.
Well, give me a weirder one. Give me a weirder one. Because to me,
weird.
That was weird. That was weird.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
I'm sure you have some obscure anime that you're like, you know what? Yeah, that's pretty weird.
You know what? There's that anime where they have death fights over bento boxes at like a like, where was it? It's actually a really good anime. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Okay.
I'm going to type it in.
Well, let's be clear. Like, weird is not mutually exclusive from it being good. Like, it can be weird and good.
It's actually called bento. And like, I'm pretty sure that the premise is dude, I'm reading the premise now. It's like, I really liked it. It's a bit, I think it's a bit raunchy too, but guys, this is the synopsis. The supermarket is an important building in any city, for they provide the convenient way to purchase variety foods for family, friends, safe environment. However, these stores change in the blink of an eye. Once unsold bento boxes go on their nightly half-off sales, war breaks out and friends become foes as each person fights for honor, pride, and dinner. There are no longer people in these supermarkets, only wolves and dogs, winners and losers. Dude, I remember it being weird because they're like literally fighting to the death for like dinner. It was strange.
This is like the Purge for bento boxes. What the hell?
I'm pretty sure it is a raunchy one too. Just going on like the art cover. It's like this typical anime character with huge boobs.
How does it get raunchy? They're fighting over bento boxes.
Who knows, dude? It's anime.
Look, yeah, that sounds pretty weird. I don't have a weird one.
Not raunchy, probably fan servicey. That's the word I'm looking for. Fan servicey.
Fair.
You know? But yeah, I reckon the top of my head, like I know I've seen way weirder ones.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird one just at the top of the gate. It's like Bubblegum Crisis. That was weird.
I want to Google it now.
Trigun's weird, you know what I mean, to a degree. Like Neon Genesis was weird.
Crisis.
There's just heaps of weird moments in animes. Goblin Slayer's weird.
I didn't get that sense from the first episode, but are they like weird in what way? Like it's just strange, or what do you mean? Because Goblin Slayer seemed pretty like serious-ish from when I watched the first episode.
Just like the fixation he has on goblins.
Like, he was literally the Doomslayer for goblins, right?
Yeah, dude, and they just like the entire anime is circled on him. Like, is that normal? But then you could, oh my god, like literally the other day, like what's it called? Oh man, here, reborn as a vending machine. I now wander the dungeon. How is that normal? Any of the reincarnation animes that have come out in the last probably year and a half, they're all weird. No. All of it. Like dude, like there's so many weird. My unique skills make me OP even at level 1. What even are these, dude? Anime's getting too popular and they're starting to just spit out anything.
And you know what the problem is? All of them on Crunchyroll are rated 4.5 and above. Literally all of them. They're all rated freaking good. They're
in the popular list right now. I'm looking at them all. It's like, guys, stop it. Stop it, you weebs.
Well, it's not a problem with anime. It's a good thing there's choice. But once you get done with the big ones like One Piece and all that kind of stuff, you start to venture off into the more obscure, weirder anime that
Oh, you always end up in the weird aisle, dude. Like, well and truly. I was in the weird aisle back when I was 18, dude. I've surpassed it. I've ran out of weird there.
You embraced the weird aisle,
dude. Like I've jumped video stores.
I don't know, man. Weird anime is just not my cup of tea. I prefer. Give me more like Shield Hero, all right, Rob? Once I'm done with Shield Hero, I want a recommendation from you that's similar to that, similar vibe, or just makes me feel and is not too weird. God, I love that anime.
Gotcha.
But that's it, Rob. That was the quarter century episode of MMArcade, episode 25. Everyone, thank you for watching and listening until the end. Shout out to our audio listeners too. Rob, we have a decent growing community on Spotify, if you didn't know.
Thank you guys for listening. And please do like, subscribe, help the channel grow. You guys fuel us in doing what we do. Please do continue to keep commenting. You saw from the beginning of the episode, we look at these comments, we address them, makes me think a little bit, and then I address them in the episode after. Like, just keep it all cool, keep it chill.
Sure. You savages.
Thank you guys.
I'll be watching. We'll see you next time. Take care, guys.